Good day to our lecturer. My group have chosen Tony Fernandes as the one of the successful entrepreneur in Malaysia. First of all, I would like to tell you my group members' name. First is PRIYADARSHINI MANIYARASU, then Revathi SIVAGURU and Revathi Visvanathan. Tan Sri Dr. Anthony Francis Fernandes is a Malaysian topmost male entrepreneur. He was born on 30th April in 1964 at Kuala Lumpur. He was a boarding school student in England. Tony is the founder of Tune Air Sendirian Berhad, who introduced the first budget no-frill airline, AirAsia, to Malaysia. Initially, AirAsia was funded by DRB Highcom, was losing money. The former Prime Minister of Malaysia, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, advised Tony Fernandes to buy AirAsia, the existing airline. Tune Air bought AirAsia for the token sum of RM1. AirAsia is well known as Malaysian low-cost airline and even AirAsia's largest low-fare, no-frill airline. The airline claims no admin fee but has some fees for service which are free on other airlines. AirAsia is actually targeting for low to middle income group. CEO of AirAsia, Tony Fernandes, aware that there are a lot of workers or low pay salaries earners would like to travel back to meet their families, especially during the special occasions. They are not affordable to pay for a high price of airplane. Hence, AirAsia is offering a low fare aeroplane ticket to meet with the demand of the people. Tony Fernandes said he great stand is find great people. He said this at the recent finance conference in Singapore. AirAsia was voted the world's best low-cost carrier for the 10th year running by Air Transport Research from Skytrax.
My name is Revathi Visvanathan, metric number H19A0746. Now I'm going to present part D, which is entrepreneur before starting the venture. Tan Sri Tony Fernandes has different working experiences before he purchased AirAsia. Firstly, Tan Sri Tony Fernandes worked as an auditor with Virgin Atlantic, which is a British airline, for a short period of time. Afterward, he became the financial controller for Richard Branson's Virgin Communication in London from the year 1987 to 1989, followed by Warner Music International London, where he joined as senior financial analyst. His journey did not just end here. In the year 1991, Tan Sri Tony Fernandes was admitted as associate member of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants (ACCA), which is a global professional accounting body, and he became a fellow member in 1996. Later on, Tan Sri Tony Fernandes has decided to leave and achieve his dream of starting a low-cost airline. Finally, in 2001, he purchased AirAsia and became its Chief Executive Officer (CEO). Moreover, Tan Sri Tony Fernandes is one of Malaysia's best-known entrepreneurs and one of Asia's leading businessmen. He is not just involved in the aviation industry, but also sport, hotels, the music industry, and much else. Former Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir advised Tan Sri Tony Fernandes to buy an existing airline instead of starting one on own. Tan Sri Tony Fernandes mortgaged his home and used his personal savings to buy AirAsia, which was the heavily indebted subsidiary of the Malaysian government-owned conglomerate. DRM Highcom was losing money in the moment. 1 year after his takeover, AirAsia was in the point of balance, making neither a profit nor a loss, and cleared all its debts. In the year 2007, Tan Sri Tony Fernandes has become the founder of Tune Group of companies by starting a hotel chain, Tune Hotels, based on the no frills concept. No frills concept based on hotel refers to a hotel that provides the bare essentials to customers in order to maintain low prices. In addition, at the age of 36, while sitting in a very London bar, Tan Sri Tony Fernandes has decided to possess an airline when he saw entrepreneur Stelios, who is legendary for creating EasyJet, a low-cost airline which now flies quite 75 million passengers annually across 31 countries. It absolutely was the instant when Tan Sri Tony Fernandes thought it's an excellent idea. It also because he always loved planes. After successfully turning around the struggling low-cost airline, Tan Sri Tony Fernandes failed to regret the choice that he has made, and it absolutely was the proper thing. Last but not least, Tan Sri Tony Fernandes, at a young age, he would follow his mother who sold Tupperware at Tupperware parties. Tan Sri Tony Fernandes has mentioned that his mother was an implausible woman. She had the ability to motivate, bring people of all races together, and sell Pyrex. She was perhaps the most important influence in his life. In brief, it had been also his mother who inspired him to fly high as he dreamt of owning planes when he flew everywhere the country along with his mother for her business.
Hi, good morning everyone. I am Revathi SIVAGURU, matric number H1980747, and I'm going to present about my part, which is the entrepreneur at the time he started the venture. First, about his primary motivation to start up. Dato Tony Fernandez, motivated by his mother who sold Tupperware and Pyrex, he always flew all over the country with his mother for a business, and he motivated to fly high his dream of owning plane. Secondly is setting any goals while he start up the business. If yes, what is it? His career was his goal, which was degree in accounting and worked at Virgin Atlantic as an auditor and become the financial controller for Richard Branson's Virgin Communication in London. Third one is resources that available before startup. Stelio Haji Luano was become a resource for startup the Hair Asia business. It was through Dato Pahamin A. Rajab, the former Secretary General of the Malaysian Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry, that Fernandez came to meet with then Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad in October 2001. Tun Dr. Mahathir advised Tony to buy the existing airline. Fourth one is any networking. Tony Fernandez mortgaged his home and used his personal saving money to buy AirAsia, which was the heavily indebted subsidiary of the Malaysian government owned conglomerate. Fifth one is controlling at early stage of business, serious or not. Tony be serious on this venture and he ready to face all the risks. Tony can control his business level and remain the same. A business plan template provides a model of what a good business plan should contain. Sixth one is risk orientation at early startup. He used his personal saving money to purchase exciting airline. Tony faces many risks because purchase the exciting airline because Tony leasing cost airline will fall 40% in the market price. Eighth one is business plan. Dr. Tony Fernandez used strategy planning and make a best business plan to ensure his airline business becomes successful. Eighth one and the last one is prepare or not before the startup. Mr. Tony Fernandez, before his startup airline business, he already has enough experience on his musical company, and he started it after consult with entrepreneur Stelios Haji Lounoun, who is famous for creating EasyJet in low-cost airline, which now flies more than 75 million passengers annually across 31 countries. That's all from me. Now I'm passed with my partner to continue our presentation. Thank you.
Now we will come to a conclusion. My name is Revathi Visvanathan again. In conclusion, Tan Sri Tony Fernandes is an inspiring entrepreneur and also a role model for all the youngsters in our country. Tan Sri Tony Fernandes has remarked that AirAsia does not only focus on profit and success, but also strongly believes in serving back to its community. For instance, Asia Foundation, which works with Asian social entrepreneurs to promote a wide range of ethical goals from heritage conservation to wildlife welfare, on the hand creating fair, inclusive and sustainable business. AirAsia sells some of the airline's products on board, including Musa Shake, ground coffee from the Thailand, cottage sawaga from Indonesia, and handmade rags, riches packs from the Philippines. Tan Sri Tony Fernandes also firmly believes in empowering women in the region. AirAsia is the first airline in Malaysia to have female pilots, and they make up 5.5% of all our pilots, a higher ratio than in the US. Besides, one of the key success factors of AirAsia is Tan Sri Tony Fernandes knows his goals and tend to pursue it relentlessly. For instance, Tan Sri Tony Fernandes always loved flying and felt that it should be available to everyone and not only to a certain group of people. It was a vision he always had in his mind. Thus, he found a way to bring air travel to more people by offering budget no-frills airline. Being not afraid to fail is also another key success of Tan Sri Tony Fernandes. According to him, people underestimate the value of failure. But every time that happens, a person gets better, smarter, and those lessons will help the person get where he or she wants to be eventually. He also mentioned in an interview that it is essential to run at the opportunity when one sees it. In brief, it is indeed true that Tan Sri Tony Fernandes is truly an inspiration to all the entrepreneurs in Malaysia.